The final chapter of Mindful Ethnography, Mind, Heart, and Activity for Transformative Social Research is titled Letting Go. It's a short chapter. I'll read a little bit from it here, and I guess I'll share a little bit of my ulterior motivations in writing this chapter in particular, but also to some degree the book. I think I'm writing to my younger self, and I'm writing to younger scholars as they enter this field. A field that can be so anxiety-provoking, so full of judgment and scrutiny, evaluation. We're constantly being held out for evaluation by others in this business, by our peers, by our mentors and superiors, or people who've come before us on these paths, by our students. We're being asked to do many things and to be continuously critiqued, evaluated, judged for how well we do those things. The demands are often impossible. We see that even more now in this moment that we're living. My heart goes out to all the junior scholars who are juggling care of young children as they negotiate tenure processes. They may well be part of the sandwich generation, caring for elderly, worried about their parents as well during this time. I think about my younger years as a scholar when my daughter was 2 and I went back to graduate school. My son was born while I was doing a postdoc, and all the juggling of demands and expectations and responsibilities for so many years. I'm in a different place now, and I've been through some tough stuff that motivated this book. I write about it in the introduction in chapter 1, going through cancer, divorce, at midlife, reevaluating many things, wondering about the stressors I lived with for so many years, and what I might have done a little better to let go of some of them, not internalize them in the same ways, and to live with a little more peace. So this chapter is about letting go. One of the most important sayings in Buddhism is let it go. Let go of our attachment to things and ideas. Let go of expectations, hurts, and worries. When we hang on to thoughts, feelings, concepts, and mental formations, we suffer. This is not a letting go with resignation or resentment. It's not about letting go of doing what we can do to reduce suffering, to address injustices, and to make the world a better place. It's about knowing that we've done or we are doing what we can do the best we can. It's about letting go of the things that may actually hold us back from doing better, different, or more transformative work. So in this chapter, I consider what we have to be willing to let go of, to let be, to set free, as we loosen our words from the chains to our computers and our minds and put our ideas out in the world. I share some of the things I tried to let go of as I finished this book and as I finish reading it to you now, or reading excerpts from it. I recognize that it's much easier to say these things from my secure position with tenure. But I hope young researchers will still find something of value in these words, perhaps some support for your own tenure cases, as well as for choices you make about how you want to contribute to the world as you live out your lives. So what do we need to let go of? We need to let go of a sense of completion. I often ask young people when they say, can't wait for the semester to be over, can't wait to finish this program, can't wait for the end of the year. I say, would you say that about your life? Oh, here I'm not reading, I'm elaborating on these ideas. I say, would you say that about your life? Would you say, almost done, almost at the finish line, can't wait for it to be over? And then I try to remind them, this is your life. To some extent, you chose it, to be in graduate school now, to be writing this dissertation, to be doing this work. In many ways, it's a privilege. You probably know that. Can you embrace it right now? To become aware of the press to finish, to complete, to publish or perish, but to think what underlies that fear. In the end, we do perish at the end of our lives. What are we racing toward or running from? As I wrote this book, I asked myself, what if I actually did die before I published it? if I die before I put this recording up to be shared. Arguably, doing and producing more and more and more can be a way of avoiding acknowledgement of the deadlines we all will meet one day at the end of our lives. I tried to embrace the possibility that this book would never see the light of day, or at least that I might not ever see it published, and to write it anyway. Why? Because I wanted to, because something compelled me, because I felt I had something to say. But I also tried to slow the press to reach this some elusive finish line and to let go of the idea of absolute completion. I know that I don't have any definitive final word for all of the epistemological questions I've raised in this book. I can't tell you how to write your own ethnography, how to balance description and analysis, how to bring readers into the story while reminding them that it is a story, how to hold responsibility for your narration while recognizing that it's only one way that a story could be told, and how to proffer some kind of truth while accepting that it will always inevitably be partial. I can't resolve the paradoxes I have named or offer the perfect balance of head, heart, and activity. I can't tie this package up with a neat, pretty bow. Instead, I hope the questions themselves and the illustrations I've offered will help you find your own way through the forest, as it were, or whatever part of the forest you're wandering in right now. I hope that I've sparked some conversations you can have with yourself and with others, and that these ideas will lead you somewhere interesting and be useful for your own journey in academia and in life, just as the many, many words of other people have led me here. I'm sure that my own ideas will continue to develop as I read more texts, talk with more people, hear the reactions that others have to my words, meditate a little more, engage in social action, and just live a little longer on this planet. So I let go of completion. I tried to let go of perfection. I worked on the book really long, hard, many hours, many days, many months of all my vacation nights, weekends, summer breaks, writing, editing, reading, rewriting, chiseling the words. This process could have gone on forever. I could have added more caveats, sharpened some points, fixed a few mistakes that I actually found when I read the copy-edited version or when I read the printed version, and that I somehow missed even in the copy-edited. But ultimately, we all have to decide when our time and energy is better directed to other things. If you're reading this book, you know that I decided to put it out in the world, which was a choice. We could write and never publish. It's really our choice. I aimed for something that was good enough to share with others, good enough to be of some value in the world, but certainly not perfect. I tried to let go of worries. That's hard. I haven't always practiced what I preach in this book, and I felt my own new form of imposter syndrome as I wrote it. I worried about how it would be received. What would my scholar friends think about this turn I've taken in my academic work? Would my activist friends see me as having gone too soft? I worried a little less about the opinions of spiritual practitioners because I figured, they may merely raise their eyebrows at the obsession that academics seem to have with trying to fix everything in just the right words. I certainly have worried a lot. I worried so much that once I published it, I kind of put it aside, and it took me a long time to get around to reading these bits aloud to you because I was almost afraid to revisit it and see if I'd be horrified by something I wrote. I tried to let go of the worries, but I'm not always good at practicing what I preach. I tried to let go of expectations because if I'm honest, I hope that people will like what I wrote. Part of my letting go is to accept that some may like it, some may not. The flip side of letting go of worries is to let go of expectations as well. Readers will have their own reactions based on their own journeys in research and in life. Some may find the words they need for their own work. Some may return to these words at a later time. They might not work well for you now. They might not mean much to you now. Sometimes we read things at points where we're not quite ready for them. or they're not particularly helpful at certain points in time, and they may become more helpful later. For some, they may not resonate at all. They may not feel useful at all. Can I allow that just to be and still offer my little granito de arena and hope that it'll be useful to people in some way? This is where I try to think of writing as a gift that others can accept or not as they choose. A big letting go in academia involves letting go of ego. When we stop worrying so much about what we have to say or how others will judge our findings, we create room for curiosity, interest, pleasure, even joy. Mindfulness practices can help us calm the anxieties that inevitably arise as we try to make our way and stake our place in the business of academia. All of this can soften the egoic force of academic work. In a business that builds altars to the human ego, as academia really does, really reinforces egocentrism, or it reinforces our egos. We will never likely transcend our egos completely, but we can recognize when they take center stage. We can distance our work as best we can from an anxiety-inducing sense of ownership and fears of judgment. And we can notice what new understandings emerge when we loosen our tight grasp on truth claims that we have invested in and keep open a sense of wonder. The final thing, and maybe the hardest thing to let go of, is our field site and the relationships we've established therein. The important thing is to remember that these are relationships and they should be let go or continued in some new form with thought and care. And here I shout out to Ariana Mangual Figueroa, who was one of the first scholars I know to put focused attention not just on how we enter the field, but how we exit them. So how will you exit yours? Will you leave some of your representations behind in some form? What will you take in your heart? And what do you hope to leave in the hearts of the people you met? So there's some thoughts to meditate on. Meditate on letting go. Meditate on gratitude to participants in your field site, and meditate on what you take from your time in the field and what you want to leave in the hearts of the people you met. I guess it's my hope that you found something of value in the words I shared with you, in this reading, or in the words that you read in print in the book itself. I hope you enjoyed the process of listening, accompanied by the music my son composed and performed. And I hope that this will be generative for you in your own field sites, in your own writing processes, in your own career development, and in your life. Remember, this is your life, and I wish you a beautiful one.